Ladies and gentlemen, Vince here, diving into some brand new reward apps today. Hope you enjoy. First up, we have Math Cash. Now, anytime you see these type of little play to earn style of apps, ladies and gentlemen, just get ready for advertisements, and Math Cash is no different. This is what it looks like when you first launch it up. At the top of the screen, you have your balance in USD currency, and your 3-hour timer, as well as your goal. Again, this might look different in your country. I live in Australia, so just take this with a grain of salt. Underneath that, you're gonna notice a little floating cash pile. This is just one of the many ways that you can watch advertisements in return for that little currency you're trying to generate before that 3-hour timer runs out. But the funny thing is, once you watch that ad, you're then gonna have to watch another one, everyone. Because here you can see it says I have 83 of the currency, but then I can watch an ad to times 2 it. And even if you press claim without a bonus, it plays an ad anyway, which is pretty frustrating. Now, underneath the balance as well, you're going to find your actual little prize area, which you make progression on every time you answer a correct math question. So here we obviously have 5 minus 97, which then has a question mark to minus 92. So if we go equals, you can see it's correct. And you can imagine that on repeat over and over again. Now, if you don't want to do the math questions, there's a mini game area, which you can find at the today's task section at the bottom of the screen, where you can get free points for obviously doing tasks in the app. And then you have the mini games underneath. Now, I found that pressing the task button at the bottom of the screen was actually a better option for this because it gives you access to all the earning opportunities. There's also a little today's earning report, by the way, which tells you how far you are ahead of other people on the app. I'm not going to go through every single mini game, everyone, since there's so many, but again, I'm sure you understand the concept of these little mini games on these style of apps. Just other ways to get you to watch ads, pretty much. All right, so that's pretty much all there is to show. It's a very straightforward app. Let me break down how the test went today. I started my test off with 2 hours and 59 minutes on the timer and 1,000 of the currency in the balance. I then played for 32 minutes and generated another 10,555 of the currency, filling up the progress bar. And that only converted into 4 cents worth of USD. So I had to play again because the minimum is 5 cents to cash out. So I played for another 27 minutes and generated 3,587 of the currency. And that rewarded me with another 3 cents worth of USD, everyone. So around an hour and a half for 7 cents USD, which is pretty average for these type of apps, sadly. What I will say though is that I did withdraw my PayPal currency, and yes, it did arrive to my account within about 3 minutes or so. So that was actually excellent to see. I just find it so funny because these developers that make these style of apps could easily make it match Just Play, in my opinion, but they don't, everyone. They have the system there for the rewards, but they just don't have the pay rate, sadly, at least here in Australia. So that's my review on Math Cash. You can do whatever you want with that information. Let's move on. Next up, we have CashSpace. So everyone, another weird situation. The developers have actually taken my script and put it over an AI actor or an actor. It's just pretty strange. Either way, this is what it looks like when you first launch it up. You have your account balance at the top of the screen that runs on a Coinbase currency. You have a little bonus system, which we'll talk about later. Then, of course, you have your payout area. Now, here in Australia, the minimum is 1 cent worth of USD for 112 of the coins. $1, for instance, though, will be 9,900 coins, and $15 is 134,000 of the coins. Now, granted, there's a whole bunch in between that, but that's just how I like to do a baseline. So the only way to actually get this Coinbase currency is with their playtime reward system. Depending on where you live, you might get a mix between a task-based system and a per-minute system. For instance, in Australia, I was able to generate around 5,500 or so of these coins by playing 2 separate games. One was a task-based one, and one was a per-minute system, which was much easier. Now, even though the casual games are actually pretty fun all in all, I will say the rates are very low in my country, and it's pretty disappointing. I hope they increase them. You have to think, everyone, there's a promotion running at the moment, which gives it 1.5 times the coins, but without that promotion, you're struggling to even make $15 for a full offer. And these are no easy offers either, okay? You're gonna have to be playing for weeks more than likely to complete some of them. Now, their bonus system, I will say, is actually pretty cool because they give you like little percentage increases, which in my opinion, they probably could just increase the rates and get rid of this whole system. But either way, you can get 5 of them per day by watching ads. And then once you have a few of them, you can actually merge them together, which I'll do right now. And there you go. And then you can apply that to your next withdrawal, essentially. After around 2 hours of playing games, everyone, I managed to generate 51 cents worth of currency, and I did withdraw it. And yes, it did arrive to my PayPal account within about 5 minutes, and I did have to do a selfie verification. So keep that in mind. Perhaps some people out there will have a use for these tiny little apps, but for me, not really, okay? The rates just aren't there right now in Australia, and you'd think with all the money they're spending on ads, they can bump up the rates a bit, especially with that strange script and actor situation. Anyway, that's my review on CashSpace. Let's move on. Just quickly everyone, please don't forget to drop a comment by the way. I've been going through and replying to all the comments on my videos over the past year. It has been a grind and taken days, but I'm getting there slowly. Also don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Next up, we have an app called Classic Bubble Lucky Shooter. And this is what it looks like when you first launch it up. Top of the screen, you have your gem-based currency, a 3-hour timer, and your supposed PayPal currency. And they've recently ran a lot of updates over the past few months, everyone, so I thought I'd check back and see how it's actually going, because I know a lot of you guys probably haven't even heard of it. You can swap between different colored balls at the bottom of the screen, and your whole goal is to obviously aim at the same color and pop them. As you can see, very, very easy to understand. Now, in my opinion, where the biggest drawback comes from is the amount of ads it's playing. Even though we have all these different abilities at the bottom of the screen, right? Every single 30 to 45 seconds, an ad's automatically gonna play, even if you don't even touch those abilities, which is so annoying. Granted, I know why developers do it, but it just ruins the whole app in my opinion. Now, to break down today's test, I had almost 170,000 of the gems, which was generated in about 32 minutes, with almost 3 cents in my balance already. Now, once that timer ran out, that 2.8 cents jumped all the way up to 9.6 cents. Now, realistically, that was on the higher end for an app like this, but then I generated another 101,000 of the gems, and that jumped up to almost 13 cents. So breaking it down, around an hour and a half worth of playing generated almost 10 cents. We do have a task-based system as well where it has various mini games. Again, you guys understand how this works. Just pretty much watch the ads over and over. Now, what I will say, everyone, is that yes, I did withdraw that 12 cents worth of currency, and it did arrive within about 5 minutes. But again, does that really make it worth the time and effort? I guess that's completely up to you. Here in Australia, definitely not, but you guys can do whatever you want with your own time. That's the whole point of these reviews, obviously. So that's my review on Classic Bubble Lucky Shooter. Let's move on. Next up, we have Cashwell. I feel like Cashwell had a lot of opportunity here, everyone, but realistically, once you play it, you'll see how simple it is and how really there's not much to do except for watching ads. So this is what it looks like when you first launch it up. Top of the screen, you have your cash-based currency, your timer of 3 hours, and your supposed PayPal currency. Underneath that, you have your little in-game currency of coins. And now you're probably thinking, what is going on in the middle of the screen here, all right? Pretty much, you just have to tap on the fountain. It's really that simple. Bottom of the screen, you have some upgrades that will help you get through the game, such as like an idle increase there, or a tapping increase. But let me just show you what happens when you tap on the fountain. You just generate the in-game currency, which will now ask you to watch an ad. And this is where you can multiply the amount of currency you receive. So instead of 109, I can multiply it now by watching the ad. And now you can imagine that's all you really have to do on repeat. So it's more of like an idle game in my opinion. Pop-ups are going to appear as well randomly. Even if you don't want to watch them, if you try and get out of it, it plays it anyway. Now if you were to tap on the boost button on the right side of the screen, here you can watch advertisements for a whole bunch of different little boosts, everyone. And tapping on the rainbow button on the right side of the screen, it's going to bring up like a progression reward list here, everyone. So the further you get through the game, the more of these little rewards that you can try and generate. There's also a floating chest, and of course the mini games in the middle of the screen there. So now that you know all this, everyone, let's break down how the test went. I started my test off with 1 hour and 54 minutes on the timer. I played for around 30 minutes and generated 10,000 of the in-game cash. And once that timer ran out, it converted into 3 cents worth of USD, which was very low in my opinion. I did play again though and generated around 2,600 of the cash, which took around 18 minutes. And then I finally got to 5 cents, which was the minimum cash out, everyone. And I did try and withdraw it. And I am happy to say that yes, the 5 cents did arrive within about 5 minutes or so, everyone. So there you have it. I feel like so many of these apps have so much potential, everyone. The developers just really have to up the rates and they can really get more people playing. At least that's what I think here in Australia. But either way, that's my review on Cashwell. Check out my channel for almost 1,000 reviews. Stay safe out there.